What's on the docket today? Appraisals. Stay tuned. There were a few scenarios. A, the appraisal comes in high and you have nothing to worry about. You're clear to get the loan. Your lender will give you the finances and you don't need to give any more of your money out of pocket. The next thing that can happen with an appraisal is that it comes in perfectly. The appraisal meets your comps and you're all set. What happens when your appraisal comes in too low? Now, one note, a low appraisal is actually more common than you may think, especially in a seller's market. In a seller's market when buyers are driving up home prices. However, a low appraisal doesn't necessarily mean a canceled deal. In many cases, it means you have to pivot and renegotiate. A few things that you may want to do if an appraisal comes in too low is A, you can challenge the appraisal. You can renegotiate with the seller, or a good realtor and you have a appraisal contingency or your purchase and sales, you can back out of the deal. So what is a home appraisal anyways? A home appraisal is a professional report that gauges a home's value. Generally, if you're buying, a lender will have a third party come out and produce an appraisal. Generally, a lender will schedule an appraisal to make sure the home that you're buying or the home that they're lending you money in order to buy makes sense to them, so that way you're within a certain loan to value ratio. Generally, an appraisal is one of the latter steps in the home buying process. So let's talk about what a home appraisal contingency is usually in a purchase and sales agreement, is basically when if an appraisal doesn't meet or exceed the value of the actual offer on the property, if the appraisal doesn't meet that, the buyer will then have the ability to back out of the deal or have an opportunity to renegotiate the sales price or make up the difference. So a buyer will have the opportunity to renegotiate at that point or back out of the deal. It's a safety net, so to speak. So if an appraisal is greater than the offer, you're in the clear. If an appraisal comes in lower than the actual offer to purchase price, there are a few scenarios that can happen. The lender may not approve the loan. If the lender doesn't approve the loan, the buyers and sellers may have to renegotiate the terms. In some cases, buyers and sellers will work together because both want the deal to go through. After all, they engaged in this activity. One wants to sell, one wants to buy. So if there's a difference in the appraisal of so for example, if an offer on a home is $360,000 and an appraisal comes in a little low at $355,000, the buyer can put down an extra $5,000 to make up the difference, because the lender won't give them any more money in order to make up the difference. They will not loan them any more. The sellers can reduce the actual purchase price, or they can both meet in the middle and have an amicable agreement. If an agreement can't come to play and you're able to exercise your appraisal contingency before the deadline is up, then the buyers can cancel the deal, and in doing so, they'll be able to retain their escrow money. How is a home appraised? So in a home purchase, the lender will generally have a third party, unbiased company come out and appraise the home. Generally, these appraisers are selected randomly, who have no ties to the buyers or the seller. Home appraisers are generally concerned about condition of the home, recently sold comps in the area, age of the home, its condition, size and square foot, and the local housing market, if it's a buyer's market, seller's market, etc., etc. A few common reasons why an appraisal might come in a little lower. Appraisals might come in low if it's a seller's market. If inventory is low and there's a lot of buyers, not a lot of sellers, low inventory drive up prices. In a seller's market, bidding wars often drive home prices up higher than an appraisal can support. If an appraisal comes in too low, you can always appeal the appraisal. Generally, as a realtor, you want to meet the appraiser at the property location, bring in your current market data, your comps and everything you know about the home, give supporting details to what your comps are, and the appraiser will use that information to help determine the home value. So how can sellers overcome a low appraisal? A, you want to get a copy of the appraisal. Sometimes the buyer could be asked to challenge the appraisal. The buyer would have to pay that expense out of pocket, but it may get them the home. If you feel that the appraiser gave you inaccurate information, maybe used wrong comps, maybe didn't use actual solds as a comp, and just used what was on the market, that could be a determining factor. Also, if an appraisal comes in too low, you need to be open to negotiate to make the deal work. the sellers to put in the rest. Oftentimes when a appraisal comes in too low, both sides need to come to an amicable agreement to push the deal forward, and really that's best for both parties' interest. Now in this next video, we're talking about the selling process, so stay tuned.